There's one thing, Gazi, um, I wanted to speak about that. It's something that came up, and it's something that's been kind of like taunting me for a while. Um, it's just to get an understanding of someone's perspective of what they think good quality life looks like as for an individual or as an individual. Okay, do you understand? If we're speaking about the quality of life that you have, or the quality of life out there, or the one that you would perceive, or you would say that for me, this is a good quality of life. This is the kind of habits I I I place into my life. These are the kind of things that I do because of this is what it gives me. This is what leads to that. And also trying to avoid these bad habits, like people would say, the negative side of things. You understand? Just to, yeah, man. Because I think this thing is playing in my mind in a sense that the quality of life that I would like obviously is to have a clear mind, you know, to be at peace. Do you understand? To be able to know which kind of decisions to make, because sometimes you are left with decisions and sometimes you do tend to make the wrong one, and we like to call those ones mistakes. You understand? And just a way that you can make sure you are consistent in terms of living a certain type of life, having that discipline, you know, making sure that you exercise regularly, eating a certain way. You understand? Because I think those are things that make people feel much better about themselves, if I'm not mistaken. There's a feel good.
I think yeah, that's that's one of those questions that I kind of feel we we can't really reach a full like complete answer to,
Yeah, yeah,
you know. And I think it's a lot more simpler when we get to a point where you kind of define what is quality for you,
okay.
right? And quality is is not correlated with quantity. That's the mistake that a lot of people
Yeah,
make, is that they correlate it like having quality
having more and
by
having a
having
lot.
more, or having more time. It's like, I don't know. Like I said earlier on, it's like, my thinking and my approach, is so much more different, in the sense that I I look at these kind of things,
Yeah,
right? And I think to myself, will it matter in the next 5 years? If the answer is no, then it's really not worth my attention.
yeah,
You know,
not venturing into.
and I, even then, like 5 years is actually a very, very long time. I even like bring it closer to 5 months. You know what I'm saying? If the answer is, if it's not gonna make much of an impact in the next 5 months, if it's not gonna significantly help me to live better, you know, it really isn't worth, you know, it's not quality. It's just something that's being added on, on top of whatever it is. I don't make many changes within my life. You know what I'm saying? On a on a on a regular basis.
Okay.
Most of my life kind of remains the same for a very, very long time, right? But when I tend to look back, it's like, geez, so much has changed, right? And it's not because I've decided to make a lot of changes, because I remained consistent with whatever it was.
Consistency.
You know what I mean?
Do you think a lot of people struggle because of that consistency? When you look at the industry that you're in, right? the industry that you're in, whether you're a client or whether you're a professional within it, it requires discipline and consistency in order to be able
So
to.
that is, you see, that's another problem. You know, people will look at it and be like, discipline this, discipline that, and try to equate that to having results. You know, which is true. You know, if you're disciplined and you're consistent, you are gonna get the results
Okay.
of something good. But you know, on the opposite end of the spectrum, if you are disciplined and you're consistent at doing something that is
Bad. Toxic.
for lack of better words, you know what I mean? I feel like this part of the conversation really, really strange place.
Yeah.
But yeah, for lack of better words, versus you consistent at doing a bad thing, you're gonna get a result
No, there's always going to be a result
at the end of the day.
for every action, is there?
Of course, there's always a result, you know. And like the one thing people don't get is that they want a result that's not consistent with their um their discipline or their
The
decisions.
input.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like it's sad. You know, I know so many people who just have done so little and expected so much.
So much, yeah.
You know, and it's like
You didn't put in the time, you didn't put in the effort.
and now we have to feel sorry for you. And I'm sorry,
Yeah.
guys. It's very difficult for me to feel sorry for somebody who's been consistent, like who's been a consistent idiot.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, no, nobody.
I was not expecting that.
Nobody expecting
Yeah.
that. But like
Yeah.
if you've been a consistent idiot,
Then, yeah, no, you're not going to get the results otherwise, man. I'm sorry.
not at
It's
all.
not going to happen.
You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, if you're listening to this podcast and you're an idiot, you know, and you want to be disciplined and be that
You know,
idiot.
do you think that person or those people know who they are? You see, they know exactly who they are.
No, absolutely, and that's another thing. It's like I don't believe in coincidences. I really do not. I don't think that anything happens by accident, by mistake.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying. If a lot of people know who they are, it's just that they pretend,
Yeah.
you know, to not know,
Yeah.
you know, and then they act surprised when
When they call them out or when things happen. Yeah.
And it is what it is, bro.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I think
So. To the whole premise of like the quality of life, you know, it all just boils down to um consistency, you know, and it will. Unfortunately, there is always a path,
yeah. Yeah.
and it's the path of most resistance that give quality. The path of least resistance is the path that has has a tendency of giving a lot of quantity, and when I mean quantity, it's quantity of pills.
Ish.
Because you're stressed and now you have to
Yeah.
be on high blood pressure.
You need to take this for that. You need to now because that one is creating another problem. You need to take
Yeah.
another thing to balance it out.
Yep.
And no, I get you, Gazi. You know, I think what worries me a lot is and the reason why one of the main reasons why I'm asking this and I also just want to get another point of view. You understand? Is the fact that I look at my lifestyle. I'll always tell you that I rarely speak about other people apart from myself because I'm living my life and I can only speak about my life. You know, most of the time. I can only speak about my life, but yeah. So when I look at my lifestyle currently, right, it got to a point where I'm like, no, man, but you can't carry on doing this.
I still going to gym, guys.
We started training.
Okay.
I train at home.
Okay.
Yeah, we started training. Felt like crap this morning because it was hard as hell, right? Trying to do cardio and trying to get to do certain exercises and making sure that you recover.
You must sign up for the Project Beast Day challenge.
Beast. Which one is that?
I'll tell you about it.
Okay.
It's a little thing that I've created. You know, it's a 12-month program. I mean, not 12 months. 12-week booster program, right?
I'm in. I'll get you some other guys too.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I'll get you another guy and another lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
I'll advertise it.
It's such an interesting thing because it's on the next level. I mean, I was telling you that this week I've lost 4 kilograms.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And it's not because I took a drug or anything like that. I just started doing the specific protocol of just training like this and certain lifestyle, like doing
Changes,
things, lifestyle changes with my diet, and like deciding to firstly stop sugar. And me deciding to stop sugar, right? The way I think of it is not, yeah, I stopped sugar. Let me stay out of sugar.
Yeah.
The thing that's gonna like keep me away from sugar is just thinking to myself, what's gonna happen when I start sugar again? Right.
Yeah.
I know the answer to that. You know, I definitely know the answer to that.
Okay.
But yeah, without even going too far about it, I mean, when the time is right, I will publish the program for Project Beast.
Okay.
And man, wow.
So you're currently on that now.
I'm currently
doing that.
I'm currently on phase 1 of Project Beast.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, but you said to let me know about it. So send me the information.
Yeah.
And then I can obviously put it on my socials and everything just for other people to be able to get it.
Yeah.
Now that's perfect. I think also, you know, when you're doing something on your own, you're doing it at home.
And that's the
gym environment is not there, you know, stuff like that. Because remember, we also caught with time. Sometimes you can't really reach the gym. Sometimes it's like, yo, Timber's not going to be at the gym. Yo, I'm not going to be alone. Sometimes the gym is crowded. You can't get to the equipment that you need for that day, for whatever you set out to do. So that's why I'm trying to do a lot more things at home. You understand? That's the first part of it. It's obviously the physical. Do you understand? Then I also looked at my life in terms of what I'm putting in terms of what I'm eating. I eat crap, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. And it's not junk food like I'm saying junk food going to fast food joints and stuff like that. I'm talking about even the stuff I buy that I make at home. I'm like, yo, what I'm putting in here is there's nothing healthy there. You know that? Look, we do eat a lot of veggies at home. But the other things, bro, like the extras. You know those extras, man. Those extras are the ones that's making me think twice.
Yeah.
To that point, then I'm also getting into the psychological and slash spiritual side of it. You understand? So now I'm looking at the physical, which is obviously the exercising, and then it's obviously the dietary, nutrition, and now I'm looking at it as the psychological and spiritual part of it. And dude, you know what, man? I fell off for the longest time in terms of fixing this. Fixing this in a sense that a lot of people have the tendency to meditate. A lot of people pray, right? a lot of people just find time to themselves, just to breathe.
Mm.
Do you understand? And a lot of times you catch yourself in this rat race where you're just doing, just doing, where you don't get the time to sit back and say, you know what, I need at least half an hour just to breathe, just to.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, when you when you're not doing the thing that you are supposed to be doing,
You're doing something.
Firstly, you're doing something, and sometimes that something is nothing.
Yeah.
Or that something is you're doing something for somebody who is very capable of doing it themselves.
Yeah.
Right? But they'd rather have you do it.
Because it's convenient.
Because it's convenient. And it's like, I don't know, sometimes you have to ruffle the feathers, of certain people every now and then and just make them be like, I do it yourself. Kind of a thing. Yeah. And
I think
that's a big part of being a man. And you spoke about earlier on about like being a disciplinarian. You know what I'm saying? But as men, we have a tendency of ending up doing things, for people who are very much capable of doing them themselves.
Please, obviously to please.
Well,
that's part of it.
I mean, if it's your responsibility, right? Part of your responsibility is also getting the person independent enough to do it themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if at some point that person is not capable of doing things by themselves, right? And they just like overly dependent on you.
Yeah.
This is my personal opinion, right? You like that psychologist who's hanging on to the money, right? That's not getting that person across the line of healing, right? Because you benefit something from it. And that's where being liked comes from. You know what I'm saying? And that's, unfortunately, in my opinion, that's not what being a man is about. Being a man is about
enabling or
is about guiding a person up to a point where they are very capable of doing things for themselves, and then guiding the next person to do exactly that. You know what I'm saying? It is not your responsibility you to take care of people for the rest of their lives, and they never get to a point where they can do the most basic thing. Because at the end of the day, if you are having to do something that's very basic for someone, right, you will have to do something that's not so basic for someone. But if you teach someone to do something very, very basic, later on in life, they will do the most complex thing without your need. Only because you actually went through the process of guiding them to the most basic things.
You know, the one thing, I think, and okay, I think when I look at it, or from what I understand and from what I hear, sometimes it's not just about being liked. Sometimes you really want to do something good. Um, there's a very big difference between a lot of men now. And sometimes you hear stories. I'm just saying, you hear stories. This one doesn't do this. This one does that. This one, there's almost that weird comparison that's happening outside in the world. There was, no, my husband doesn't do that. Oh, that one, he just sits on the couch. He does nothing. Everything must come to him. And the other one will be like, oh, that one, hey, he does this, he does that. Stuff like that. So
Hey, if he's sitting on the couch, he's not out there with the MRP. Just kidding.
It's also better than that. he's not wearing night shift.
Hey, my man.
Hey, dude. So the way I see it is like you say, you need to learn to ruffle those feathers. To say, you know what, hey, for this next 2-3 hours, please leave me alone. This is me. This is my time. For this is me. When I look at it now, I'm like at that point where I'm like, you know what, man, that part of the groceries, you can half full there. You can take half off there, and make sure you get me all of these things that I can live off. You understand? Because I think what we've started doing is because we like to buy certain things and we buy in bulk and because it's cheaper and because obviously by us, like, there's five of us, you know, and then you're thinking, okay, fine, this is going to help because at least it will sustain us for the month, and you know, you think of stuff like that. But in actual fact, you find that you're eating more of the nonsense, right? And the quality things that will actually help your body, you actually will you'll be taking less of it. Yeah. And in the long run would actually cost you cheaper. Yeah. But we don't do the math that way because we assume that it's gonna cost us. We assume that a certain lifestyle is more expensive, you know?
True, but I also just think that we don't know any better,
No, we don't. We don't know any different.
you know.
Yeah.
And until you're exposed to something different,
Yeah.
you know, or you look at the results of whatever it is that you've been doing,
Yeah.
and you feel like, hey, it's not getting,
It's not working anymore.
yeah, you
The
know,
results are bad.
then you make that change. I don't think maybe that's where my mindset shift has begun, and it's got nothing to do with the year. Hey, for all I know, for some people, this year is going to be worse than last year.
No, because you don't know what the future has in store for you.
But besides that, it's going to be worse for it's going to be worse for some people because of their mindset and their mentality. Period.
Some of us are very optimistic. I had a discussion with my wife in December, and if we had to compare December upon December upon December, so when we started living together, obviously, it was nice. There was money, there was this, there was that, you know, we could spend, we could A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you understand? Obviously, as time goes, there's a lot of other expenses that come into play. Do you understand? And funny enough, for as much as we've accumulated more expenses, yes, right? Especially one big one recently. Funny enough, last year compared to last year, okay, so December, the year before December, which would have been 2023, we actually did better in 2024 than we did in 2023, even with added expenses. Because in 2024, there were other contingencies made. And now, because of that worked out last year, so now in my mind, I'm like, this year I'm not deviating, I'm actually adding. I'm adding to this thing, I'm adding to that thing, and I'm adding to that thing. So I can work towards this point. Do you understand? I can work towards this point, but I know that I want to get to a point where come December, I don't want to touch my salary, period. That's what I'm working towards. My salary must be for something massive, maybe. You understand what I mean? I want to get to that point where I'm like, I'm not even going to touch my money. I can even put it one side, and it won't even bug me.
I mean, I do desire something like that. You know, like, hey, reality is something else.
No, definitely.
Reality,
things can happen, eh?
Reality is, yeah, it's just one of those things that, unfortunately, you know, we don't have control over
a lot of
what life has in store as a package. And like the thing is, people don't understand it. It's not your life. It's like the package of life. Certain things are gonna come across. Taxes are gonna come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Birth is gonna come. Death is gonna come.
Yeah.
That's the package of life. How you respond to any of those things is your responsibility. And the unfortunate thing or the sad thing about it is that nobody wants to respond, right?
Yeah.
In a way that is gonna be positive.
No.
The truth, the fact is, Gazi, you know, there's a lot of things that we cannot escape. You hear people talking about how you need to get out of the system. Part of the system is you going into a box and a hole being dug into the ground.
Yeah. Part of you being into the system is the fact that you're gonna have to have a funeral cover. Who gonna bury you?
You know, and it's like You can try.
There's a lot of things that are there.
You can try to think about, getting out of
the system.
the matrix.
No,
Whatever it is, it's like the matrix is always going to be there. It's just you're gonna find a way to actually make it work to your advantage. I know people don't like that, but find a way.
But ever seen a person that speaks about a system but is always buying the latest what? Think about it. Like you talk about the system this, the system that, man. But you are the one that's always buying the latest this and the latest gadget and the latest this and the latest. I don't see you saying, no, I'm gonna walk barefoot, butt naked in the street. Do you understand? You don't say that, but you are busy saying, oh, the system is killing us. Oh, the system is manipulating us. You are the first one when Apple releases something, you are the first one to do what?
It is what it is.
You are the first one to do what?
It is what it is.
Sometimes we need to really check ourselves, to find out, are we just in that position where we want to complain about things, where we don't want to take any accountability for our lives?
We're complaining about things because they're not going our way.
Thank you.
If that iPhone was coming your way the way that you, with you doing very little to get it, would you complain?
No.
You wouldn't complain.
No. No. Just because there needs to be work and effort, and there needs to be consistency in certain things that you need to do. Now all of a sudden it's a problem.
So here's a very weird thing that I do. I'm happy when I'm busy because I spend less.
Same.
I'm not happy when I'm not busy because I end up using a lot of money.
I don't mind that.
But now here's the thing. I've caught that thing. So guess what? I try to stay as busy as I possibly can. And one would say, yeah, I'm caught up in a rat race. I'm trying to. It's like, no, the only reason why I stay busy is that
But you choose your busy, right?
I obviously do choose my busy.
It's not like you're forced to do certain things. No, you choose your busy.
Not at all. And like, because I choose to be busy more than, under that. And like the last month, I had no control over the fact that I wasn't busy.
Yeah.
And because of that, my routine was very I literally I spent so much more time in the gym, right? Because there just wasn't something else to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Work had closed down, and we're in holiday season, and I just thought to myself, let me take this time to actually allow my body to heal.
Yeah.
And
reset. You need to reset it.
Yeah. I mean, I also did things like, seeing a physiotherapist. It's like, decided to do things like that because I had the time to do it. Now, like, Monday, it's on.
It's back to square one.
It's back to square one. It's back to traffic. We're back to hard life and like chaos. But like I'm like, that's what I thrive in. You know what I'm saying? If that chaos is not there, I feel some type of way.
Yeah. What's funny? Last year was one of the most trying years for me because I took on so much. You understand? So guess what? This year I'm actually taking on more. You understand? Because I survived. I survived that. So in my mind, I'm like, no, let me add. I feel like I can add. Yes, I'm gonna most probably have certain days where I'm gonna want to pull out my hair, whatever's left of it, But it feels like I can take on a little bit more. I can handle a little bit more because last year was all about learning how to manage time by taking on some stuff. So if I add another thing or another two things, it's just time management.
Yeah.
That's all it's about. You understand? Because I think we've also come accustomed to say that you need a little bit of time to watch something. We need a little bit of time to do this, and then you find it's unproductive time. You find it's time wasted.
You don't
Do
need
you
to watch
understand?
it.
Then you find it's time wasted. So the idea basically is for me just to make sure that I keep myself busy enough when I go to bed, I'm tired enough to fall asleep.
Here's a controversial take, cousin.
Hmm.
Me, I need that person to be unproductive so that I can.
That's where you enter.
That's where I.
That's where you enter.
You know what I'm saying? That's if we can say whatever we want and complain and you know, just guys, as much as you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need that unproductive
You need
person
that,
so
yeah.
that I can be the productive one. I need that person who's on Netflix and being. I need them.
You must. They must.
Hey,
They must
you
come
know,
more.
the more lazy people they are in the world, the more space there is for me to hoy.
Yeah, to work.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it really isn't a bad. If you want to go ahead, go right on ahead. Be a nihilistic person. That is your person. I mean I'm a very optimistic person. Um, Probably sometimes to my own detriment, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
remember
saying?
you need to keep that mindset going even when things are not going right. Eh?
But that's the thing.
Even
People
when things are not going right, you are keeping it.
don't do it.
You know what? When you spoke about having bad days, months, or like weeks, months, and it comes down to the fact that even though you're going through whatever bad things you're going through, it's not something that should stop you from doing what you're supposed to.
You know the best way to to think of it, and I always say this when I'm not having the greatest of months. I don't say I had a bad month. I say this month was not me surely.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. There was no balance.
Yeah, there was no.
Yeah.
And it just makes me feel so much better when I say that because it's like, you know what? Things could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
They were not as great as they were, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And then I start to count my blessings in the process.
Yeah.
And then when I do count my blessings, I look forward, you know, and then I move forward.
Yeah. And that should be the plan. That should be the not. It doesn't have to be the everyday thing, but when you're feeling that crappy moment, you should be able to reflect, and you should be able to say, "But yo, I've come a long way. Number one, I've actually achieved a lot. You understand? And it seems like things are still actually going better for me than I thought. It's just that obviously now I've reached a little bit of an impact.
But that's most people's lives, guys. I mean, um, I look at it, and I won't blame. I honestly don't blame them.
No.
I really don't blame them. It's just they're choosing to be defeated.
You can easily get trapped in that situation.
Yeah, and the
mental
truth is,
rut.
Yeah, and when they get undefeated, when they get defeated, unfortunately, guys, then that's when things have opened up for me.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it's like you having to go through that last push before you get to a certain point.
So you always gotta push through, guys, because someone is waiting for your opportunity. Someone is waiting for, and let me not say someone is waiting for. Someone is praying for that opportunity that you have. Someone is praying to be in the position that
you are in. Yeah.
And someone is having sleepless nights. Trying to get to the point that you are in. Like my marriage, for example. Like despite when the marriage has its ups and its downs and stuff like that. But me, in the back of my head, I'm always thinking to myself, there's one guy out there who's praying so hard to have a marriage half as peaceful as mine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not me like bragging or anything like that, but it's like it just makes me think, you know what? I can honestly just suck it up. you know,
and appreciate what you have.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it might be, and I've done it sometimes in some of the most difficult circumstances. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And most of the opportunities that have come in my life, they came because someone else was talented but not resilient.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
And I wasn't trying, right?
Mm.
I wasn't like, I don't know, being conniving or anything like that.
Yeah, no, manipulating or
going behind people's backs. It never happened that way. But it happened when someone decided, you know what, I give up.
Basically, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I'm always the underdog. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Like I'm not even complaining. It is what it is.
Yeah,
that's the card that I was.
Sometimes you look at yourself as the underdog, not knowing that you're not the underdog.
But the underdog is the one that is always getting counted out, and then boom,
one day, bah,
they're the ones who dollar.
Bah,
you know what I'm saying?
It hits.
So that's it's a realization.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's a realization that I have when things are a bit, you know, slow. You know.
But you take stock.
No,
you take stock. You analyze. You
always.
Yeah. Because the thing is, if you are going to be focusing when things are slow, you're only focusing, things are slow, things are not working out. That's when the problem starts, because then your mind goes into that negative state to say that there isn't the lack that we speak of.
But that's why, and I know it's cliche. People always say this, you know, appreciate, you know, what you have.
Yes.
Because you'll never know when it's gone.
Right, when it's gone, you'll miss it. Eh?
And
I'll tell you that much.
There's countless people, you know, who didn't appreciate what they had.
Yeah.
You know, they took it for granted.
Yeah. You know? And even the type of relationship that you have, guys. Like, you know, a lot of times, Gazi, like, you have a good relationship with someone, whether it be a friend, whether it be a family member, whether it even be a partner, a wife, husband, you have good relationship with that person, you understand? And then you find an individual that takes that goodness for granted. Do you understand? And then guess what? You must bear in mind, you don't really know everything. You're not in control of everything. Because that person can be taken away, not them leaving you. They can be taken away from you. And then where are you left? Now you're left with all these memories. And you can't change things because you took that for granted. You're not in control of everything. You understand? And that is sometimes the things that I want to tell people is like, you know what, appreciate. Because I've seen a lot of people, because they can't say I'm sorry. Or they couldn't say I'm sorry at that time when they had to. They couldn't do the right things at that time when they had to. Now they're crying after the fact. Now after the fact, it's like, yo, I should have. Yo, I'm so sorry. Yo. There's nothing you can do now. Because that person no longer is there. How are you going to fix that? How are you going to sort that out? And we need to be very careful, because we've got these tendencies of thinking we're going to live forever as individuals. Because remember, like you spoke about it, is that when your time is up, when that time for you, when you need to go answer, you need to answer. You don't know what you're going to be answering for, because remember, none of us know exactly what's going to happen after the fact. But it seems like the way it goes, sooner or later you're going to be judged. Judged for what? Your actions. Judged for what? Did you love thyself? Did you love thy neighbor as thyself? Did you put God above all? You get what I'm saying? Now you're asking yourself the questions, what does that mean even? You know? But there's a lot of things, guys. I think we just need to learn to treat each other with a little bit more respect, a little bit more kindness, a little bit more love. Yeah. You know, a little bit more patience, tolerance, you know, long suffering, although it's the one I don't really like the most. But a little bit of all the good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, man, sorry, man. I was feeling a little bit, yeah.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
It's one of those things,
Yeah.
Gazi. Yeah, man.
Good.
Okay, bro. Yo, Gazi, it was something else today, man.
Yeah, it was.
It was
It was.
interesting,
I
interesting.
mean, it's the start. It's the
Yeah,
start. I mean, I wish you the best. I know that you're pushing.
I need to.
You're pushing.
I
this
have
thing.
to.
And
I have
yeah,
to.
try. I mean, not even say try. Just continue to be as consistent as you say you want to be.
Yeah.
I'm going to be consistent with a lot of things, and we'll take stock at the end of the year.
Yeah, no, definitely. We'll come and compare notes.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Come and compare notes. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like one of the wishes I have for this thing. I mean, I was there in the beginning, but like
Yeah.
life really and priorities really took over. But like I mean, every now and then I'll be here for the show.
Yeah.
But like yeah, man, like a lot of success to you.
Yeah,
You
thanks,
know,
guys.
a lot
Without you, this platform, it started nice. It started,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
you understand? And that's what helped. It took off.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Because now it opened up a gap.
Yeah.
You see?
But nonetheless, it's if there's one thing you're the one who's always wanted to do this.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, definitely.
I just happen to be around because we talk a lot.
Yeah.
And like we've probably been doing this for 2 hours today, and yeah, it's my medication and my drugs are starting to kick in.
To kick in. It's time to take a nap or
Yeah,
something.
well, that's just and I need to go take another dosage of my drugs.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm not on anything that
Or anything weird.
Yeah, I'm on pain medication right now because of the choices that
How's the shoulder?
sure. Like I saw the physio today, and he did things to my shoulder today that like I'm feeling rather tender.
Yeah, sorry,
like,
man.
It's worth it. I personally think it's the pain is definitely worth it, and I'm happy that I'm doing it in the beginning of the year.
Okay. Yeah.
And not like
during
the
when
year.
it interrupts
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be slower than a lot of guys, but like when I pick up, I pick up.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be rather interesting if the picking up actually happens.
Okay.
But like I say, much success to the resolution, and Dala what you must, guys.
Yeah, bro. Thank you so much, guys. It was nice having you again, guys. I know it's been quite a mission to pin down.
Yeah.
It's either you are busy or I'm busy or busy, whatever,
Yeah.
It's been a journey, bro.
Yeah.
Of understanding self, of getting to know self, I think that's why I won't say isolate myself, but that's why I kind of spend a lot of time by myself with my family, stuff like that.
And that's all that matters at some point.
At some point, honestly, that's it. But it doesn't mean that I'm not exposed to the world and its things out there, so that means that even the discussions that one will have, it doesn't mean that it won't be relevant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But this is the year that I make sure that I deliver whatever I would love to deliver, to make sure that I keep people engaged. I think sometimes we put ourselves under pressure because we've got the subconscious of comparing with other platforms or with other shows or with other this and that. And then at the end of the day, guess what?
Kudos to the ones that are
doing
great, and hard work to the ones that are not.
Yeah,
That's
it's one of those things, you understand? One thing I do understand is if you have something, work at it. Work at it, work on it, make sure that you see it through. It's your baby.